Today we're going to be exploring Arrtx oil color pencils. I'm really excited to talk about these. I've been eyeballing these. They've been on my shelf for a very long time. In fact, one of the things I wanted to do is get very familiar with Arrtx wax. So I've been using a lot of the wax color pencils on just color alongs and just on my own doing things because I wanted to use these back to back. Because I think y'all's questions will be a lot of the same as mine. Not only how are these as an oil color pencil, but how are these compared to Arrtx wax color pencils? So we're gonna just dive right into it. I'm gonna tell you what I've learned. The very first thing is this box. I like this box a lot. It's a really good quality. It has a sleek, nice feel to it. Now, if you remember, Arrtx wax color pencils came in that really cute square box that I loved, and it was very eye-catchy, but it was not practical in the least. Like, once you open it up, it was really hard to access the pencils while coloring, and in fact, it was a horrible, horrible box for transport, just in the way that it was designed. So I noticed that right away. They got rid of that design and went to this sleek design. The die cut on this is really unique and clever. This is something the company had to think about to add this little touch to it. It just showed love for a product. My only hang up on this, I would have loved that when I opened it up, the image was done by Arrtx color pencils. It would have been, it'd have been nice. It'd have been that reveal of look what you could do with these. But instead you get some kind of oil pastel image that have really nothing to do with these color pencils. Now this could possibly be, if it's not generated, this could be one of their other Arrtx products. So that is possible, but this is just me. This is just me nitpicking as an illustrator. That just seems like a wasted opportunity for me. Once you open it up, the first thing you see is this. I really like this swatch sheet. It almost feels like watercolor paper, like a thin watercolor paper, but it's a good cardstock. The boxes are divided into twos. My first guess on that is that one is for the complete opaque, like where you're getting the absolute bold color, and the other is more for your translucent, your pastels. So you have your dark and your light. So instead of doing that normal swatch thing where you fade it, you have one and then the other. You can see this is set up in the same order, which is really nice. The same order, you have your pencil, so you could just go through and you could fill all the boxes in that way without digging around. Again, another really nice touch. Something worth pointing out is the numbers, the way they progress. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 11. I don't know why some companies choose to do that. I'm sure there's reasons, and I'm sure those reasons apply to a lot of companies. I don't think they apply to all of them. So my first thought was, oh, wait a minute. This is the same way their wax set is organized and numbered. So I went thinking the missing numbers was going to create that set, but it didn't. The numbers, when you look at the two sets together, there's no connection between the two at all. But it was, again, a nice swatch sheet. It was just something worth pointing out. Now look at the way these are displayed. Very, very beautiful. This is eye candy right here. They, once again, have your colors repeated on the inside. And then the way these are laid out, it's like A to B, B to C, C to D. So each pocket is organized in its own numerical way. Now, something I got to point out, I do like the set in that it could stand up, but I don't think it was meant to because of this flap right here. There's not a way in which I could set this up that this flap is not going to constantly fall down and it doesn't bend back. I thought, some of them you get and it turns into a stand for it. I thought that was going to be this. The only way I could do that is if I snap this cardboard, and that would hurt too much. So I didn't do that. So it's odd. I do like this, but again, it seems like it's tailor-made to stand these up, which you can do. It becomes a little inconvenient. Something else about them. This kind of falls back into the original box issue I had. The pencils are wobbly. They're not completely packed in tight. And especially since it's laying down, but if I go to pull one of these back pencils out, the front one will fall through and go to the bottom. And I noticed that happening quite a bit. I want my joy to be in the coloring, not in sorting and searching for the colors themselves, which is why I do all my swatch sheets the way I do, because I want the fun to be in the process of coloring. And I don't want there to be a struggle. This gives me a little bit of struggle because it instantly starts putting pencils out of order. And then you got to lift up bottom ones and turn them to see. So again, beautiful box, just not the best execution for it, I don't believe. Let's look at one of these. So we have the number in the very back. There is no color name on this. The color name was on the swatch sheet, but it's not on the pencil for those of you who need it. I'm fine with that. I never say, let me find the grass green. I look at my swatch sheet and I say, let me find 5032. It just works for me. So this never bothers me. And I like that it's in the very back, so it's the last to go. The other side has the number again and some other information. The pencil still has a really good quality. It's octagon cut, so their wax is the round pencil. This is octagon cut, still has the dip back, and it still has that really nice pencil quality. Like there's a heft to it. There is a quality to this pencil that's undeniable when you lift it, just like their wax set. And I'm so glad they didn't get rid of that. It's the difference of holding that spindly pencil versus when you got something that just feels like you got what you spent your money on. If we look at the swatch sheet, it is another beautiful palette of theirs. You could see the transitions work really well. They have a large selection of yellows, but unlike their other set, their yellows go beautifully from your really, really bright yellow, that lemon yellow, into your true yellow, and that just kind of seeps right into your orange, that bright tangerine into the red, and then your reds into your burgundies and your brick reds. There's a great transition there. There's even a really nice selection from your yellows into your maroons, which is a very unusual thing to see in a palette. Your reds go really nicely into that mauve, and from your mauve to your true purple, your purples into your violets. It's just a really, really nice selection of the pinks and purples and violets. Then if we jump over into the browns, there's not a great transition between your yellows into your ochres into your browns, but it does have a really nice selection of browns, even a unique grayish brown, like more of a clay brown. And then that goes into those earth greens, those gray greens. The greens transition really nicely into your aquas. Then from your aquas to a beautiful selection of blues. They have that really light blue that I love, and then they have that really, really nice sky blue, that deep blue, that midnight blue. The blues are not lacking. And then we could jump and see that they have a beautiful gray section, a much better gray section here than in their other set. You could see this is the transition I'm talking about. Now, they do have a nice transition from the yellow into the orange, but this is unique. This is really nice, where I haven't usually been able to complete my entire set of yellows to reds and then still have the yellow left over to make a complete family where it's an orange. It's not your typical ochre section, but it's your yellow into your orange into your that brownish red. This whole section here, this family here, is really unique. There's almost no transition, which hurts my heart. There's no transition between your ochres, your yellows into that browns, but it's still a nice selection of browns, not a lot of repeats. And then you can see here, you pretty much get one selection of your that blue to the teal, the green to the teal. So these two could kind of lock up, which is why I have them separated the way I do. But the overall selection of blue is just beautiful. I want to show you in comparison where you could see the Arrtx wax versus the oil. We are talking about two different color palettes where you could see them side by side. This side has a much better selection of your pink reds, like this whole warm selection here and how it goes into your purples, way better than over here. But over here, we have peaches that we don't have over here. There's a much better transition of our ochres over here, but it jumps from our yellows right into our oranges, where here we have an entire family that goes from yellow into oranges. So you can see the two selections together. Fortunately, they got rid of the neons and they went ahead and just, I guess they used that to add more grays, which, look at our gray selection there. We have both our French or our warm gray right into our cool gray. Here is just our cool grays. So it's a gorgeous, gorgeous color palette. Now let's talk about playing around with these color pencils. I'm going to be completely transparent with you. I was fully expecting this set to be the same core as Arrtx wax color pencil. I don't know why I thought that. I just did. I just had this feeling I was going to use them back to back and they were going to be the same thing, which is probably why I was using their wax pencils so much before I grabbed these, because I wanted to make sure that what I said, I truly felt in my gut. That is not the case. It wasn't even kind of similar. One was clearly a wax color pencil. One was clearly an oil color pencil. So I could go ahead and throw that off the table right now and say, look, I feel really good about these are two totally different color pencils. Now, the one thing about Arrtx wax pencils, I made the comment that they were a bit gritty, but in a good way. They had grip to them, almost like you would have in an HB pencil when using them. And I like the friction they had. These had a grit to them that wasn't so great. There was quite a bit of that sandpaper feel to them, and y'all know what I'm talking about when your pencil hits the paper. And it's not necessarily unground pigments where it puts the dark mark on your page. This was just grit, the kind that scraped the color off and puts those little indentions in your paper, so when you go over it, it leaves little white marks. I was dealing with that quite a bit. I had a friend make the comment to me that she was like, yeah, they're great, but she was kind of disappointed on how gritty they were. So I was going into it expecting it to be more of a grip, and I was wrong and she was right. I would say about 70% of these color pencils, they just have that abrasiveness to them that's not flattering. Now, the balance of that is they have such a good pigment to it that it's okay. And I'm not trying, I'm enhancing the feel of these for you to understand what I'm saying. They were by no way, shape, or form unusable, and they were a lot of fun, but do expect to go into them that it's not smooth like a wax. It's a little bit more than just a grip. They did go down brilliantly, and there was such an amazing vibrancy when I was putting the colors and I was layering the colors. It was a lot of fun. The thing I struggled with, I think the most, because I could deal with grit. You know, I could deal with grit. It's not a big issue. What I had a hard time with, and y'all know me, I love to blend. I was kind of struggling when it came to blending these. I don't know why. I found myself, instead of using the blenders that I thought would be more appropriate when it came to being the mid-range or the softer blender, I found myself kind of shifting all that so it was mid-range and then aggressive. I was using aggressive in times I normally might not have used it to get these colors to push together. And I'm not sure why. I felt confident, I knew what I was doing with it. It just took a little bit more effort to get these colors to blend and mesh together the way I would have liked them to. And I'm nitpicking here. I'm saying the things that I believe that y'all are going to be looking for in this video, and I'm amplifying them because I don't want you to walk away just hearing that they're really gritty and they don't blend, because that's not the case. They're kind of gritty and they do blend. It just took me a little effort to get them to where I wanted to be. If you are a fan of Arrtx, do not get me wrong, this is an amazing set to add. In fact, I will recommend you getting this set if you like the Arrtx brand, if you are looking for a good, solid oil color pencil. These, I would say, is a better quality than, let's go with like an Uku, which I love Uku. I think this is a better quality. And I think you're going to find yourself just having a blast with these. So I'm not naysaying them, I'm just pointing out what you could expect if you do pick up the set. So all that being said, yes, this is a recommendation if you are looking for a good, fun oil color pencil.